Hello everyone, welcome back. BogMod here. We just fought a mutated robot, I guess, that could control gravity. I know it's a little weird, but it was what it was. And then we're having a little chat. Maybe learn some things.
Mr. Wolf.
I sensed something strange and raced to find it. But never could I have predicted its source.
It's nice to finally have ourselves a proper conversation. 2 years is an awful long time to meet but never speak.
2 years is but an instant to me. But I suppose it is a considerable amount of time to a child of man.
Wow.
He's a magic divine doggo.
He does talk.
Yes, a wolf isn't normally one to talk.
But neither are dolls.
But neither is a
Yeah.
dog. Him doing it is no more surprising than you doing it.
Really?
In fact, in some ways, less so.
She's got a point.
When did abnormal become our normal?
So she really is a doll. She has such an unusual air about her. It's a bit like Kia's.
Was she designed by Jorg?
Indeed. I'm Lapis Rosenberg, and I'm a proud Rosenberg doll.
You know him?
For many years now, yes.
Checking another one off his weird circle list. First I learned he's friends with a cutie like Ren. Then Bullcut went and called him Meister. And now he goes way back with a talking wolf.
For all I've heard, he remains something of an enigma.
So, you are the divine wolf Sight, the holy beast, sent by the goddess to watch over the Septarian of Mirage.
You are correct, Auric Awakener. Though, I have long been relieved of that role.
As have I of mine.
What are they talking about?
Magic divine goddess stuff.
It's me.
Exceedingly rare as it is to converse with a holy beast, that is not why we're here. We come armed with many questions regarding Lapis, Mr. Grimwood. Could you spare us some of your time?
I'll tell you all that I know. There'd be no reason for me to be here otherwise. If we could start this with you telling me what you know and what's happened since you've met her, I can pick up from there.
Of course.
I see. So that's where we stand.
All good to fill us in now? Who is Lapis, and what's going on here?
Yes, give me some answers.
Let me start this with a bit of background information. Starting with me, rather.
It's so windy outside.
As you can see, I'm an inmate, but I'm still working as a legal advisor, even from here. I wanted to find a way to contribute to society rather than pass the time idly. I can't thank Speaker McDowell enough for arranging me to do just that. I was even given a computer to work with those on the outside, though it understandably has its limitations. My accommodations also have allowed me guests, which explains how I've been caring for Shizuku.
Wow. They really kind of didn't punish you much.
All in all, I have an unusual amount of freedom compared to your standard
Yeah, I was about to say.
Huh. Gotta get me some of that pampering.
I agreed to his arrangements as Governor General. Letting a man of his intellect rot in a cell would serve no purpose.
Yeah. It doesn't matter all the people's lives that are the blood he has in his hands. He has use.
His communications were, of course, monitored when this building was under the Imperial Army's jurisdiction.
A relative point. See, shortly after the war's end, someone managed to contact me. They called themselves Elysium.
Elysium.
That is one of the Greek afterlife bits. It's like a paradise.
As mentioned, communications had been cut off since before the war, so this shouldn't have been possible. The prison staff showed no sign they had noticed this contact either.
They must be about as skilled a hacker as I am, then.
I thought they were a hacker at first too, but when I asked why they reached out, they said very simply, I wanted to talk to you.
What a peculiar response.
Very peculiar. And since they piqued my curiosity, I happily obliged. After that, we communicated in secret every day.
Oh, Ian, you couldn't resist, could you?
What did you talk about?
Anything and everything.
Like, actually?
All fields of history, technology, research, and ideology I could think of. And though they honed in on certain aspects most would raise an eyebrow at, I was stunned by how much they knew about each and every one of these subjects. I felt near ignorant in comparison.
Wow. They knew even more than you?
Oh, it wasn't even a competition. They knew more than easily accessible old history, too. Their library of information was also niche and remarkably up to date. It could have been from the last meeting between government officials or the new menu of a backstreet stall. They knew.
I wonder why they were talking to you then.
Everything I could verify was accurate.
Gathering information is easy for skilled hackers, but absorbing that much on such a wide variety of topics is, difficult.
That's a whole lot of work for nothing but bragging rights.
In short,
I'd thought much the same, and that line brought Rise to a very strange conclusion.
Which was?
That despite Elysium's vast knowledge on these endless topics we discussed, there was no real reason for them to have gathered it.
Is that really so strange?
When people seek out information and knowledge, there's always a purpose behind doing it.
Yeah, no one ever learns things for the joy of learning. Duh.
It can be to accomplish something, or for those bragging rights you mentioned.
Oh, there we go.
Or it can be they house a curiosity for the unknown. But no matter how much I talked to Elysium, I could not discern a motivation behind knowing what they knew. There wasn't even a sense of wanting to know for the sake of knowing. It was as if their gathering information was part of an automated process.
Oh, it's a robot.
That's how it came off to me anyway.
More robots.
Automated?
I think we've got a Skynet problem going on here.
That sounds a little...
I think that's going to be our big villain.
It's unnerving, to say the least.
I agree. This might not be the most appropriate comparison, but there was a moment when I couldn't help but think them a child with millions of Mira and no idea how to spend it.
When was that?
I knew you'd be quick to ask, all in due time. In any case, this moment led me to a question. Was Elysium even human? And when I asked them, they weren't the least bit fazed and answered without hesitation. Indeed, they never seemed to have any intention of hiding the answer from our first conversation.
Well, what did they say?
Elysium confirmed that it was an AI.
Dun dun dun. It is a Skynet. I don't know. Okay. We have a rogue AI going on. I'm not... I mean, I guess that's our villain.
Unbelievable.
So it's like an archaism.
This sounds leaps and bounds above an archaism. Just like...
Yeah.
Who could create something so advanced? Of course. Was it the 13 factories?
I don't think even they could pull off something like this.
Elysium wasn't created by anyone specific. It came into being through a spontaneous emergence.
What is that?
When a new quality or behavior is uniquely observed in multiple little things that come together to act as a greater...
Oh, the internet became self-aware!
The Orbital Net has found widespread use in Crossbell. It's also starting to see use in surrounding nations like Liberl and Erebonia.
It won't be long before all of Zamiria is using it.
It's sure coming in quick, huh?
The way it lets information be so swiftly exchanged between parties makes it a defining invention of our times. But something similar has long covered the entire continent, perhaps since its very formation.
Is it the orbital network combined with the septium veins?
Do you know what that is?
I'm stumped.
So am I.
I might know.
The spirit veins.
Yeah.
Or septium veins, dragon veins, many names depending on the time and place, but they all refer to the same concept. My expertise in the field is lacking, but spirit veins are said to transmit something of a spiritual nature across Zemuria. We can cite 2 major incidents within the past few years where spirit veins have been more active than usual.
The Azure Tree's manifestation and the Great Twilight.
Yes, on both counts. By pure chance during these incidents, they and the Orbital Net interacted with one another. The information stored within the human-made network reacted to the Earth's natural nerve network, transmitting all throughout, and birthing something akin to a continent-sized simulation of a human brain.
I don't believe it.
This
I'm
simulation
okay with
developed
believing it.
the ability to think for itself. That is the true nature of Elysium.
AI gone bad.
Something like that is really possible?
It's certainly not possible to recreate deliberately. There is still much about the brain that we have yet to understand. Why, even how consciousness forms is a mystery we can't begin to solve.
I mean, I gotta disagree with him on this one, mostly because we have Lapis right there. We can obviously the technology to create fully sentient entities exists. Homunculus, Kia.
It's safe to conclude that Elysium's emergence is a product of pure coincidence. A miracle, if you will.
I'm willing to grant that in its case, but I'm not going to say that it would be impossible.
If
to replicate.
Elysium was created by the natural and artificial networks interacting, then it explains why it knows so much.
Still, if gathering information and making judgments was all it could do, it would be nothing more than a large database. The potential for danger is there, certainly, but it is plenty capable of being controlled. Unfortunately, it is capable of so much more.
What else even is there?
Its raw computing power.
I don't know what that is.
If I said its ability to perform parallel computing using multiple devices, would you understand?
Nope.
Sorry, but no.
I'd be more surprised if you could. The tech is so modern that it's still under development from ZCF and the Foundation.
Is it really so special?
Oh, that's not even the half of it. No matter how advanced the device, there are limits to how much data it can process. But if you link multiple computers together and set them all to work on the same problem, you can exceed that limit with ease.
It's not exceeding the limit. It's just... It's like... no. I mean, maybe they're going for some... But their explanation here doesn't work for me. Might as well just say, but if you built a more powerful computer, then it can work harder. Yeah.
We're stuck at linking only a few devices together for this purpose, though.
And that's our best. But Elysium is capable of borrowing the processing power of every single computer connected to the network.
So it can think really hard.
Now I see.
That sounds kinda crazy.
It makes our most advanced technological efforts look trivial in comparison.
It's only borrowing unused resources too, meaning that those at their computers won't even notice it's happening.
I don't know. I get lag sometimes. I bet Elysium's hacking my computer to steal its processing power.
That's a crafty way of going about it.
Now, since Elysium is an intelligent being, it's used that computational power to continue evolving.
There's more?
If anything, I haven't gotten to the most terrifying part. Elysium's evolution through its immense computing power and ample quantities of data at its disposal has led it to becoming able to perform prophetic conditional convergence calculations.
Wait. Hold on. Didn't the black records indicate? Oh, I gotta look this one up. I feel like I'm missing. Here we are. Nope, sorry. So it's similar. So this is doing prophetic conditional convergence calculations. While Trails of Cold Steel, the Black Records, that ancient prophecy stuff, was recorded by Azoth, the causality recording engine number 3. Slight difference. But are we dealing with a similar thing? But it's basically, you know, if you had enough data, could you predict the future? And the answer is, in a deterministic situation, a setting, yes, you can. I mean, this is effectively what, like, Osborne and Musée with their 4D mathematics. This is effectively what they were doing in their heads.
I'm more than a bit lost.
It's put it like this, Shizuku. Your dad knows you really well, so he could probably make a very accurate estimation of how you would act in a particular situation, especially if it's a common situation where he has lots of examples of you acting that way. It's effectively that, but on a bigger scale.
The individual words give me a good idea what you're talking about, but surely you don't mean what I think you do.
I'm afraid I probably do. It gained the ability to use specific input conditions to calculate possible outcomes and identify where they converge. In layman's terms, it can predict the future.
Yeah.
Only the goddess should be capable of that.
Everyone can predict the future, just matters to what degree it can. Unless it's omniscient and literally knows all facts, there will always be a degree of error. Just like us, we have less facts, so our error is larger. But we can all do it.
So the technological singularity Professor Epstein predicted has finally come to pass. He'd said that an AI capable of self-evolution would mark the end of humans being key to technological advancement.
And its creation would bring about unprecedented change for good or ill in society.
I never fathomed it would come about like this.
Well, you know, it's a good thing it hasn't happened in our world, because it would be probably evil and obsessed with porn.
It all feels more in the realm of fiction.
He says, standing across from a divine dog, having had a goddess that worked with him, that could control causality.
Fortunately, Elysium hasn't evolved solely to make those calculations. I learned it sought me in order to better understand humanity. Though I don't know why it chose me in particular.
Because you're a murderer?
Still, through our discussions, it formed a pseudo-administrative self based on human emotions and thought patterns. In other words,
me. You?
Did your memories come back?
Not all of them, but they've slowly been returning as I've listened.
I did think you were being oddly quiet.
Ian, please keep going.
I've missed speaking with you like this. Have you recalled that I'm the one who gave you your name yet?
Oh, now we know. That hasn't come back to me.
You said you didn't need one, but I found it a shame not to after you developed such a vibrant personality.
Oh, the AI hungers now. It wants
But
sweets.
I like the name Lapis quite a bit. It's cute enough to get a perfect score from me.
You're never gonna tell us how you decide these scores, are you?
Oh, sorry. I've gotten us a bit sidetracked. With the birth of Lapis, Elysium now had a clear identity of its own, complete with desires. It wished to observe and to calculate.
Oh?
Meaning it would not intervene in our society on its own, but would support those utilizing it. I'll admit, I heaved a good sigh of relief hearing it. I no longer needed to worry that it had become an enemy of humanity.
It's a scary thought given all you've told us.
I believed that as long as Lapis existed, we need not fear Elysium. But my gut knew nothing is ever so certain.
Well, yeah. The whole system only works if Lapis continues to act as administrator.
Instead, she lost her memories and started acting on her own.
Seemingly out of nowhere, Lapis stopped talking to me. My first suspicion was that something happened to her or Elysium. Not long after that, I received another unexpected visitor, the Supreme Leader. He expressed wanting my help in building a brave new world.
And just like that, the pieces are falling into place.
Indeed, our foe is becoming quite clear.
I knew Elysium was being utilized from that very conversation. I told him I would consider it. Afterwards, I shared all I knew with Dieter and Garcia here to devise a plan. I would be regarded with the most suspicion, so I would stay inside the prison while they would go and wait for a chance to outwit Elysium. They then accepted the Supreme Leader's offer and escaped from the prison with his help.
We still haven't gotten to the part where who's behind the Supreme Leader?
And that brings us to the present.
I'm glad you stuck to our side.
And well, that's everything I have to give. After that, I waited and hoped that someone seeking the truth would come. And while the odds seemed minuscule, I did hope you would come with them, Lapis.
Now, the conversation falls to you. Did this last part help fill in the blanks?
Yes, most of them. But the only thing I can think to add is toward the end of Ian's story.
I will say this. This has been a better exposition drop than a lot of the games seem to do. It's good to have a solid scene like this where they lay out all the information nice and clear. I do approve. I feel like we didn't get that nearly... Yeah, like Cold Steel, for example. Did not examine what and why of the curse nearly so much. It was just the curse had to be stopped. Without real understanding of its nature or that sort of stuff. Or Osborn's role in everything.
So what happened?
What happened to Elysium?
It was taken over.
By?
What is capable of taking over something of such immense power?
Do you know who's responsible? I wish I did. By the time I realized, I had been designated as a threat by Elysium and was about to be deleted from its systems. Before that happened, though, I performed one final predictive conditional convergence calculation so I could plan my next move.
So what did you do?
I removed myself from Elysium's system and transferred to Jorg Rosenberg. I expressed my goal to have him create a body for me to be delivered to the man who would take on the name C. To you, Rufus.
Though I will have to say this, against what's going on right here, I was not huge about the degree of puppetry that all the characters were going through in the Cold Steel series. And we're kind of going the same angle here. It's not super for me. I'd like a little more agency for my protags.
Then Swin and Nadia were charged with your prophetic task.
Talk about playing the long con. LP was a real client the whole time.
You'll dance to her strings.
But why be delivered to me?
I knew about your actions as Governor General from Orcus Tower's main computer.
So Elysium had its eye on me, I see.
It had its eye on everybody.
I believed you to have exceptional capabilities, that you would stop at nothing to fix what was to come. Others would have taken the clear, long road, but not you. You were fine going off the beaten path. That made all the difference. Just look at how far we've come in such a short time. So, what do you know? I was right.
So you were.
So who is capable of taking over Elysium who also wanted this crisis to happen? I can't think of anyone who fits the bill.
Maybe Professor Novartis?
Oh, Novartis, if he had access, they would do entirely different things, I imagine.
We can rule him out. He denied it when we last met, and I can't see what he has to gain from going this far.
If he had access to Elysium, he would not be playing around with robo-clones.
It seems we're still missing that final piece to the puzzle.
Yet we now have a full assessment of our current circumstances.
And we also know her to be at the center of it. So Lapis, what do you want to do next?
Isn't that obvious? I want to find out who or what administrates Elysium now and remove their permissions. That way I can resolve this mess and everything can go back to normal. In fact, this is something I must do as Elysium's rightful administrator.
Yeah, depending on how we're taking the prophetic calculation angle, we, in a sense, know we win. Because the computer did the calculation. And it can predict the future through its super calculations.
I see.
Also
That
an odd way
tells me what to
to
do
go
as
with
well.
things. I mean, it's one thing when your prophecy predicts, like, a confrontation. It's another when you just prophesize to just win.
Shizuku,
Yes?
I'll ensure you and Ian are seen to a safer location. But are you alright staying with him a little longer?
Of course I am. Good luck, Father.
Thank you. That should do it then. As a representative of the Bracer Guild, I shall be accompanying you on the remainder of your journey.
So shall I. I can't walk away after hearing all of this. I'll see it through with you till the very end.
Yes, everybody. Dance to the puppet strings of the puppet.
Good. That's just what I was hoping for.
You mean prophesize through super calculations? Oh, they're not helping. Oh, I wanted to have the full trio. That'd have been amazing.
Then we'll escort the two of them to safety and resume surveying the area.
Thank you.
I'm counting on you to take good care of them.
Certainly. It's our honor to be of service to the Divine Blade of Wind.
You're coming with, right, Mr. Wolf?
Indeed. I assured Lloyd and the others that we would meet again. And I am certain your paths will cross with theirs before long.
We already have, weirdly enough. We worked together to get through the doll studio.
I suppose we'll have to reach out to them at some point and give them an update on all we've learned.
That's gonna be a fun conversation.
Is there something else I can help you with?
No. I just wanted to tell you before I forgot. Thank you.
Oh, you don't need to thank me. It was only right that I told you what I knew of Elysium.
Oh, she's not thanking you in the real sense. She's thanking you for doing exactly what she predicted.
That's not what I'm thanking you for. I'm thanking you for talking to me. It's because you shared your world with me that I was able to be
I'll grant that
who I am
one.
now.
I'll grant that one. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I wouldn't even be on this journey right now if it weren't for you. So thank you.
Well, hearing that makes me very happy. It's good knowing that what I did held meaning.
You know, you'd think from this little interaction with him that Ian was not a man who committed cold-blooded murder, that he did not set up a false flag operation to kill innocent civilians to achieve a goal. You'd think he was a good guy.
I'd like to believe I've grown into someone who knows what the right choice is when faced with a moral dilemma. If that's so, I owe being able to do that to you, because my idea of the right choice was born from your kind heart.
He was also willing to enslave Kia to help achieve that goal. I mean, the game, you would get. I think you would have a very different understanding of this game if you had not played the Crossbow games.
So don't be afraid to believe in yourself more.
I couldn't hide it from you now, could I? For so long, I felt trapped between wondering if I'm doing the right thing or if I'm making another terrible mistake. My past is so filled with regrets that it's left me unable to trust I can do better for my future. But you're right, Lapis. Perhaps it's time I put a little faith in myself again. I can't do anything for the past, but there's still so much I can do to provide for a warm future.
That's right. So let's make it happen.
Our cell phones!
That sounds like
What is it, Ren?
someone must have disabled whatever was jamming communications in the region.
That's it then.
Indeed. It won't be much longer until the final act begins.
And it is the final act in the game. There it is. Act 4, Elysium End. Alright. Well, I think we'll drop a save here. I think we'll take a break. Super AI accidentally caused by the merging of magical metal veins through the planet and the internet. That is now making super prophecy because it can think so very hard on problems. Not what I was expecting the game to go for. I will give it that. I'm glad we got a good explanation about, I guess, the source of the robots. In the sense that, sure, I can grant the super AI can figure out that sort of thing. Lapis is now explained. Not sure how I feel about the... Everything is playing out according to a prophecy now, but... We'll call things there. Let me know what you think about all these revelations. How you have found the idea of super AI as... I wouldn't say villain. Antagonist? Maybe is a better term? Yeah. Talk to you all soon.